welcome to yet another smell test edition of Board on the Corner. This one about the aftermath of the G20 summit in Toronto. Even though I wasn't at the protests, I was following them closely, so I'd like to give my 2 cents. Let's start by talking about what got all the attention on that weekend, the small riot sparked by hotheads using what are called Black Bloc tactics. In the days that followed the incident, the mainstream media talked pretty much about just that. Now let me be clear, I hate that this happened, and these overgrown thugs do not speak for the vast majority of protesters, anarchists included. I also want to be clear, since some of my viewers include people more radical than I am, that I will never endorse or support unprovoked violence. However, I also need to make clear to everyone that what happened on Saturday has been blown way out of proportion. Yes, police cars were burned. Yes, many other cars and storefronts had their windows smashed. Yes, tear gas had to be deployed in Toronto for the first time, though the Toronto police couldn't seem to make up their minds on whether or not to tell the public that. Yes, some people were hurt. However, let's be honest, we see this and worse after any championship hockey or soccer game in any other major city in the world. What happened was more of a dramatic annoyance than a real threat. Furthermore, the police rather conspicuously stood out of the way and allowed the Black Bloc to just stroll by them. The only people I saw the cops actually fighting were peaceful protesters, and the media conveniently neglects to show or explain exactly how those scuffles started. I don't want to give much credit to conspiracy theories, but even I'm thinking that this whole damn thing was allowed to happen, maybe even staged, just to give the cops an excuse to crack the heads of real protesters, or to save Emperor Harper's ass after spending all that green on security that apparently didn't work really well. This is especially so when police sources are now claiming they were ordered to leave the Black Bloc alone. By the way, I don't expect this to be widely reported, but some of the people assaulted and detained by the police, hanging around the more calm protesters, were real journalists with the proper ID. Can someone please remind me, and the Toronto Police, OPP, and the RCMP, if that's even legal? I'm pretty sure that caging people without access to a lawyer isn't, which is probably why this is being challenged as a charter violation and why Amnesty International is looking into this entire mess. Oh, and Toronto Commandant Bill Blair, if there was never a rule that anyone within 5 meters of your security fence would be arrested, don't you fucking dare claim that there is, and then talk down to the people of this country for thinking that you're a liar and a dick. The second thing, for all the massive money spent on this summit, more than 10 times more than any other G20 summit, even in larger cities, for all the draconian and heavy-handed security that can only be called overkill, what exactly did this thing accomplish? From what I've heard, very little was promised in terms of helping the developing world, and thanks to Emperor Harper, there is no banking reform either, because heaven knows that companies making billions of dollars a year can't afford a 0.05% tax increase. In fact, it's been reported that the leaders at the G20 conference skipped out on it early to watch the freaking World Cup! So between peaceful protests being ignored by bloodthirsty media and overshadowed by radical morons, security that wouldn't know a real threat if it literally bit them in the ass, and so-called dignitaries who were more concerned with helping the super rich than actually taking the issue seriously, we officially turned downtown Toronto upside down for a complete waste of time. Canadians, and especially Ontarians, please remember this the next time you get a chance to vote, and kick out the people responsible, namely the governments of Stephen Harper and Dalton McGuinty. Until these clowns are willing to stop pissing around this country, they have no business running it. Enough said.